Hey y'all, it is April. Dang, I don't even know what day it is. Let's check it out. It is April the 13th, 2020. All right, a little bit late. But I only plan to have maybe a short broadcast. Thought I would drop in here on y'all, maybe make it an hour or so. All right. I just gotta let you know, my day was full of a lot of stuff. Getting in the sunshine. I'm building up a nice base tan. Wish I could share it with y'all, but I don't want to. Not right now. Maybe later. I'm working on that because it's got vitamin D up in the sunshine, all up in my body and stuff, making me feel all sort of good. Uh, I was doing this and that. I exercised, and I'm not trying to. I'm just saying my day was full. I did a lot of cleaning. My apartment looks immaculate, dude. Everything's a blessing. All right, and every blessing's from God. All right, and every curse, you might as well just say it's from God. All right, or every hardship. Let me just put it like that. But I thought I would jump in, very unprepared. All right, and it's a short broadcast, so I don't think it'll be a big problem. But pretty unprepared. That being said, I actually do have one story that I want to share with y'all, and it's an update on a case that we discussed actually a long time ago. All right. And let me just go ahead and pull up what we were discussing a long time ago. It's a little bit sensational. All right. In fact, publications like the New York Post, they went ahead and they covered it, and it was almost like they were giddy. Like, for example, let's check this out real quick. See if we get this ad out of the way. All right. Check this out. All right. You might remember polyamorous, don't play no dang video. Polyamorous Florida woman with 4 boyfriends is pregnant. I don't know if you remember that. It is a case that we discussed, in total discussed, all right, a long time ago. But I want to show you the results of it, all right, which came, basically in no time flat, actually. We're going to discuss that if in case you hadn't heard about that. See, check this out. Polyamorous woman, Florida woman, 4 boyfriends. She's pregnant. Oh, isn't that sensational? Oh, isn't that good? Love don't judge. Oh, man. Don't judge this love. Look at this. Look at this thing right here. This thing found love. She found love 4 times. All right? I want to show you. I want to take you into their life so that you know how beautiful it is. All right, and they're getting ready for a baby. This is Tori. Look, check it out. You're gonna see a few faces. They said 4. God, I'm sorry about that. I'm not gonna show you that. Anyways, 4 people. There's Ethan. You're gonna have to remember him. Remember Ethan, right? This guy. Remember that guy. That guy's face. That one right there. Remember that guy. All right, we're gonna talk about him in a second. So this is all the way disgusting, right? And it doesn't take you half a second to figure that out. All right, but like I said, a little bit sensational, right? And when it comes to Lauren Stussy, who we're becoming more and more familiar with, look, Lauren Stussy. This was done in December 6th of last year. She loves it, as you can tell. She thinks it's all funny and it's a funny game, right? Who's your daddy? I wonder. One of these guys. And just, let's get a feel for it. I'll read a little bit of this article so we can refamiliarize ourselves. A polyamorous woman in Florida with 4 partners is pregnant and says despite sharing her bed with many lovers, and I don't even think it matters if she washes her sheets, but she's certain of who the father is. I can't remember. I don't think it was Ethan. Anyways, Tori Ojeda, 20 years old, lives with 3 of her 4 partners in Jacksonville, Florida. In the home, Mark, Travis, Ethan, and Christopher take turns spending time with Ojeda, swapping in and out in her bed each night, and she tells Barcroft Media, right? So, I guess what I'm getting at before we go a little bit further in this article, what I'm getting at is we didn't realize it growing up, maybe in America or all across the flat Earth or the round Earth or the triangle Earth. We didn't realize that all this wild, crazy stuff that we were indoctrinated into, maybe through our public schools or our televisions. We didn't realize that all the immorality, oh yeah, it might be exciting. It's actually destructive and suicidal, right? And I forgot to mention, this is one of those broadcasts that I could I'm going to be easily taken off of YouTube for this, right? It ain't going to be hard at all, right? That being said, of course, I'm on BitChute. I tried to upload. I know I uploaded one video earlier, and I'm not sure if it uploaded the other two, but I'm going to try to stay on top of it, right? And sometimes I forget about it for like a couple days. But that's where you find stuff, and I'll be bringing y'all some reports there on the BitChute channel. And of course, it's taking way too long, but I still got to figure out some more of that D Live, and I do have a channel on D Live. So the very moment that I get banned, guess what? I'm on D Live. Really don't care. The household's love story began 3 years ago when Ojeda met Mark, 18, in high school. 2 months later, she opened things up with Travis. All right, 2 months, right? You can tell, man, that little honeymoon fairy tale period, that ended real quick. 2 months later, she opened things up with Travis, 23, to whom she is now engaged. Engaged for what? I'm not sure. Later, she brought in Ethan, which is going to prove to be disastrous, and Christopher, 22, into the fold. All right. So, despite her plans to get married to Travis, for whatever reason, couldn't imagine why, Ojeda said he's not the father of her baby girl. And maybe that's the reason why, all right? Just to, I don't know. I'm not going to say anything. Look, quote, Chris is the biological father, she says, which is this handsome young man right here. We just know that because of timing and when the approximate conception date was, blah, 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 based off the approximate conception date, we had been on vacation, so it was only us. Well, that just makes me feel very secure and warm and fuzzy inside. Thank you, Tori. Says, Tori Ojeda has 4 boyfriends, blah, blah, blah. She's not pregnant. Christopher is biological father, if indeed that's what you want to call it. But for the soon-to-be family of 6, those are just minor details. Very minor details. Oh, that's interesting. We're all raising the baby together, so everyone's dad, Ojeda says. We're all very, very excited to be raising a baby together. It's all one big happy family. It won't be without its complications, though. You can take that sentence right there and frame it. All right? Okay, that is, you know what I'm saying? If you don't hear anything else, yeah, there's going to be complications. The group says they've dealt with bouts of jealousy over the years. I wonder why. I wonder if that might result in disaster, all right? It was especially hard for Mark and Travis to accept the newcomers Ethan and Christopher at first, but Ethan says they talked it out and are all on good terms now. I'm just so pleased by that, right? And there's a matter of sharing. Ojeda says it gets pretty exhausting having to please 4 different men, if that's what you call them, under the same roof. And she's actually encouraged her boyfriends to pursue other love interests. It's so gross. It's so damn gross, right? I don't even know. It's just so gross that why would you even read more? Don't you remember this? You can see where this is going as far as disgustingness, right? I don't have to read too much more of it. But I gotta say, like I said, it's an instance in which we could very much benefit from turning inward and looking at ourselves and realizing, there were times in our past when we did some stuff that's just inexplicable, it didn't make sense, didn't benefit us, not even a little bit. All right, we look back and we think, what the hell were we thinking? My suggestion is we were overcome with Satan, right? Which is, basically taught in the public schools on the television. And they're not going to tell you that, but they love it. They love it, right? And so, most of us have been tricked. And at this point, we realize just how tricked we were. And we realize all this is disgusting. And many men, for example, and this is on a different note, but many men actually, for years now, especially on the internet, they've been conferring with each other, and they realize, women are a certain kind of way. All right, it's a certain kind of, and we're not talking about Tory. We're talking about attractive women, and there's a certain kind of way that they act. Right, a lot of men never ever figure this out, but not to be overly crude or anything. The thing is, basically all women act the same. Now they have different opportunities, definitely, but they still act the same, right? Especially when they're under the guise of Satan, all right? And actually, I got to turn off the oven right quick, and I'll be right back. All right, so we notice that, given the opportunities, women basically all act the same, the exact same, right, as each other, and they're under the impression that they're all individual flowers. It's not really the case. Thing is, you could turn that around and say that about men as well. All right, so we're not singling out women here, but we're just saying a lot of men figure this out. All right, so Tori, like I said, women act the same, and I know I said attractive earlier, but basically any woman will act the same given that opportunity. So she found an opportunity in which there's a surplus of quote men that nobody, why would anybody want these men around them, right? So she found that opportunity. She kind of found her place and stuff like that. And she took advantage. And that's the thing. That's what women do. They take advantage. Could you blame them? I don't really blame people for taking advantage, right? Uh, I just don't, all right? And so she does this. She plays into this whole thing, and we realize it's disgusting. Now, before we go any further, there's all sort of women out there who's, I don't know, the word isn't good, but they're reformed. They're back to the way that they were supposed to be. They were always meant to be, right? Through the eyes of God, their creator. Right? There's a lot of them that come back to the light, and either number one, it's through a man and a man's guidance. And I mean it when I say the word man, right? I'm not confused by that. It's either that, and of course, he would be under the guidance of Jesus and subsequently God, right? Or, actually, women can take a straightforward approach, I've noticed, and go straight directly to Jesus and God. Okay. And if they do that, they're going to realize, well, all this philandering and whatever it is that they've been doing before, it's actually not even worth it, right? In fact, it's, like I said, suicidal in many ways. So, anyways, people have been figuring out, not only has things like the Bible said, hey, don't do this, it's going to be bad for you, but they've seen the results of it, right? And so, that being said, this was a ticking time bomb that was always meant to be, all right? And it took basically no time at all for it to go terribly wrong, all right? This sort of situation in which a woman, like I said, given like the opportunity to act any damn way she wants, right? And get all the attention that she wants from males who honestly nobody else wants, all right? See, here's the thing. She'll take that. She'll take that opportunity, having no clue. Hopefully, having no clue how it's going to result. Now, Jacksonville.com. We got Jacksonville man jailed for the abuse of a 5-week-old baby. Now, I noticed that somebody jumped up in the building right now. And of course, I appreciate you, and I appreciate everybody who's going to come through this recording. And I appreciate everybody who has no idea who I am, all right? I love everybody, to include these people right here. I love them. I love these people. All right, they're gonna say that, oh, I hate these people and I'm a hater. It's not really the case, but for the person, is coming into the building, like I said, we're covering a case. We're actually just doing an update on a situation that we covered a whole long time ago about this polyamorous woman and her 4 boyfriends, and it was celebrated on publications such as the New York Post. I mean, celebrated. If they could have pulled out balloons and confetti, they would, right? It was so absolutely disgusting that, Upon hearing it, you might not even want to eat for the rest of the day. That's how bad it was. Okay. Now check this out. Jacksonville man jailed an abusive 5-week-old baby. Hmm. How abusive, I wonder, by Dan Scanlon. And that's on Jacksonville.com. Check out this guy. You remember this guy, Ethan? You remember that guy? He didn't have green hair, but now he does. Right? Still the same guy. Ethan Bockham is charged with aggravated child abuse after 5-week-old girl, 5 weeks. Can you imagine a baby that's 5 weeks old, how small that baby is, suffered multiple injuries. Their bones ain't even bones yet at 5 weeks. Okay? So she suffered multiple injuries. Okay? A 22-year-old West Side Jacksonville man told an officer he, quote, needed to tell the truth. Uh, Before we go any further, he needed a lot of things other than that, I promise you. So, quote, needed to tell the truth on March 17th, according to the arrest report. And I don't know if he did tell the truth because we don't have access to that report necessarily. But while much of the report about Ethan Bishop Bockham's charge of aggravated child abuse has been redacted, one line is not. And that line is, quote, he stated he believed he heard a pop during the occurrence. He heard a pop. What was that? What was that pop? The officer wrote in a report, the 5-week-old girl's grandmother, of course, he ain't going to find no grandfather. I'm not going to find no grandfather, but 5-week-old girl's grandmother, who I'm guessing gave her blessing to this whole uh, happy family. She gave more details in an email to the Times Union saying that the baby suffered, get this, a broken leg, a broken arm, broken ribs, and skull fractures. I'll let you dwell upon that for a second. And you're going to feel some sort of rage seething up through your skin. You might even want to break the phone or the computer that you have. Don't do that. Just breathe for a while. Okay, broken leg. And this is a 5-week old baby girl. Leg, arm, ribs, skull fractures. He heard one pop? Yeah, I doubt it. I am so distraught that words cannot describe, says grandmother. Oh, well, God bless your heart. Quote, oh, the horror of all this. She didn't realize there was a horror movie going on this whole time for about 9-10 months. So the horror of all this. I'm so overwhelmed with pain. Oh, well, at least your arm and your leg and your ribs and your head isn't broken. So I know you have a lot of pain, but heartache and sorrow over this. Oh, heartache. Oh, man, that's terrible. She said the baby is expected to recover without any permanent damages. Yeah, trust me, the damage, even if it's not physically permanent, the damage is very well permanent. I'm here to tell you. All right. Bockham remains behind bars on $250,000 bail, according to the jail records. How in the world he got bond, or like, how they even put and establish the bail is beyond me. It's totally beyond me. All right. That's pretty much it, right? That's pretty much it. That's all we needed to know. And before we go on any further, like I said, shoot, man, ban me from YouTube. Like, all I care and stuff doesn't make any damn difference to me. But, okay, in this situation, it's a weird situation in which, of course, our legal system is not equipped to provide actual justice, as was inferred in my title. It's just not equipped somehow, right, to provide actual justice. How in the world they establish bail? It's beyond me. All right, Unwrap Brandon's up in the building. I'm sorry, Brandon, for bringing you this story first. All right, but I had to. It's the only story that really I have in my mind right now that I wanted to cover with y'all today. So, I don't know if you caught what we were talking about earlier, okay? But just in case if you didn't, all right, just real briefly, this guy who's involved in, this big group relationship, and then he wound up breaking basically a 5-week-old baby girl in half, basically. All right, caused her to suffer a broken leg, an arm, ribs, skull fractures. Anyways, he's in jail right now, this guy. All right. However, unfortunately, Yeah, our system, for some reason, somehow, some way, is just not. It's not equipped to provide justice. Not at all, right? And that being said, in the real world, I doubt. I mean, that's not to say that our boy Ethan is safe at all. Even in jail, he probably isn't. I'm sorry about that, but justice is not going to come, not in a legal sense, and that's actually a big, big problem. In fact, I think there's no bigger problem in all of America to include this little COVID BS, right? So that's the biggest problem is this, all right? And there is going to be no justice. I mean, zero justice, nothing. All right, we're going to pay our taxpayer money to feed and house this man for however long until maybe he's released, all right? Perhaps due to COVID fears, they might let him out of jail. Okay, but in my mind, hypothetically, although I'm not saying like, you know what I'm saying, like it's ever gonna happen, but hypothetically, what you would do is here's the thing: hanging him from a big tall tree, that's too good. That's too good and it's too easy. Right? And that in and of itself, no justice, not at all. Right? What you would do is you would take his leg, and I'm talking about with no anesthesia, break it in half. Take his arm and break that. All right, just systematically break his leg, break his arm, break some ribs. Just go for it. Break some ribs. Do a little bit of skull fractures. I mean, exactly the treatment that he gave to this 5-week-old little girl. That's what he would get. Systematically, that would happen. And then guess what? That might be a problem for you or whatever. And so make sure to keep you awake, and so that you don't pass out from adrenaline. Make sure to keep you awake. Right? I don't know, for an hour, however long people want to keep you around, then wheel you out to that highest tree I was talking about and hang you in front of everybody. That's justice. Anything short of that is no justice at all. That's what I hypothetically in my head, that is exactly what would happen to this fellow right here. That being said, we go all the way back. We backtrack a little bit, all the way back to the beginning of the story. And I might remind you, let's keep this face right here, all right? Don't look at it if you're getting like anger problems, obviously, but that's the man we're talking about. The man, the quote man we're talking about, right? But if you trace this all the way back to when this relationship was being celebrated by people like the New York Post, if you take it all the way back, you figure out that something that you already know, good and well know, CPS is worthless. I'm talking about Child Protective Services, right? In fact, children would be, and it seems crazy to think about it, but children would actually be better off without CPS. If CPS didn't exist at all, they'd be better off. Right. That's not to say that like some children wouldn't get abused to death in all sort of torturous ways, because it would still happen. But I'm just saying, as far as benefits and pros and cons, CPS is only detrimental to the well-being of children. And I think everybody is starting to get that, all right? Everybody with any sense, for that matter. And if CPS caught this, like on the New York Post and stuff, and it got their attention, they would immediately squash this situation. You might say, oh, that's against constitutional rights and stuff like that. Hey, CPS shouldn't even exist. How about that? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are they even good for? Nothing really. All right. So they would have stepped in, squashed this whole situation, let this creature know, hey, you're about to have this baby. We better not. In fact, we're gonna surveil you from here on out. And if we catch you doing anything that resembles what you thought you were gonna get away with, we're gonna take that baby just as soon as knocking on your door. We're gonna run to your door and bust it down. Take that baby. All right. That's what CPS would do if it was worth any good, but it's not. Not even close. Just want to point that out, right? It's not going to be written in this article, right? Even though that's like the major lesson of all this, right? That being said, of course, when it comes to CPS and stuff, yeah, there's probably some good people up in CPS. Let's just say the majority of people in CPS are good, or not good, but they're decent people. Well, forget it. Shut it down. Close it down. I don't care. They could find something better to do, probably. You would think. You would think so. And that being said, it's kind of a window into the straight up and down attack And I'm not telling you anything new, but the attack on everybody who's decent, who's God loving, who loves children, and realizes that you could easily break them in half if you wanted to, right? And of course, we're not going to leave babies with this a gamer right here. Oh, where was his mom at? Oh man, maybe she was banging one of her other boyfriends. So she left a 5-week-old baby with some stranger who ain't even related to her. All right. We're under some serious attack. All right, in many ways. So some people get freaked out and they get all flustered and stuff, and they're looked at like conspiracy theorists, or maybe they're losing it. And yeah, they probably got a lot on their mind and stuff like that. But at the same time, they're exactly right, under attack. And so that being said, of course, we had that whole COVID thing, um, that whole Corona thing. And that's pretty much us under attack by the same types of people. And you already know it, dude. I don't have to give you no evidence and stuff because you already seen it. And which, there's certain names that come to mind. A Barack Obama, a Barack Obama, a dirty damn disgrace who was our president before, right? And he, left, let's say, the infrastructure of the executive branch in shambles and everything else. And our new president, who honestly, I just can't help it. I just can't help but love every time I see him. I love him even more, right? He's real quick to say, you know what, the previous president was actually slipping and tripping, and he left everything broken. And in fact, I don't know if he did it on purpose, but he may as well have. All right. And so now we're into this COVID thing. And before we get into like a little news blitz, before we get out of here, I want to say, man, like I catch the press conferences, not every day, but close to it. All right. And maybe not the whole the press conference, but a lot of it. And from what I've been seeing, no matter how untrusting you can be, from what I've been seeing is that Donald Trump is laying it down exactly the way that he should. Now, a lot of people are saying, he's not going far enough. And the thing is, he's gone pretty damn far already, number one. And also, he has to play it cool in ways that a lot of people ain't, they're just not familiar with. And that, you get into a wartime scenario, and for sure we're in it. All right. I don't know who would debate me on that. But, you had to do some things that's very complicated. And when you're the president, you have to be somewhat diplomatic. All right. And the phrase keeping your enemies closer, like keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer, that's an ancient phrase for a reason. There's a reason why people have been saying that throughout generations after generations after generations. All right. Because it's actually it's a good war tactic. All right. As Donald Trump seems to be just putting on a clinic for everybody right now. Right. And so that being said, of course, you got a Dr. Fauci, you got a Bill Gates, you got a Dr. Burks or Bricks or whatever the hell her name is with the scarf. And Americans with any sense, they already figured these fools out. They figured out what they want to do to America, to include shut it down, to include forced vaccinations on everybody, no matter how much death, because they're not exactly liable if people just die all over the place. Don't even matter. And they're just going to cover it up and hide it if they did, in fact, do that. In fact, they do that sort of thing in Africa all the time. So it's not exactly new for them, right? And so we realize we're under attack, and that's the thing, like, without panicking, because I never suggest that, or having anxiety, or outwardly, like, violently attacking anybody, ever. Without all that, I'm pretty willing to suggest that every waking moment of a person's day, to include my day, is actually dedicated to the war against what, communist China, Bill Gates, Dr. Fauci, anybody who wants to stick some mystery potion in me and give me all sort of fear. It's a war against you. There's a war against you now. I mean, there's been a war and stuff, but every waking moment, I think to myself, what would they not want me to do? And I'm going to do that, especially. So, it's because of that that I was working out yesterday. They wouldn't like that. I was getting sunshine earlier. They would hate that. They would hate it because it's good for me. Um, I was having a nice apartment. I was having nice things. I was having food in my refrigerator. Every last one of these things they hate and they wish I could stop right now. But there's more. I've been giving people, like, not to brag, but just to give, like, suggestions. I've been giving people money who's in this fight, whatever, like, little money that I could give them. I mean, very modestly. I mean, it's not much, but it's what I can do just every waking moment, dedicated to it, because it's a war that's not, it's not like, oh, I'm imagining it. All right. If you need any more proof, then God bless you, but please leave my channel forever. All right, so let's check this out. Bexar County now has 700. Dude, look at this picture, dude. Some people are so treasonous. Oh, man. It freaking blows my mind. So look at this picture. What is it, the world on fire? Or is that a virus? Oh, man, that's supposed to look scary, right? COVID-19, your worst nightmare. It's not us who wants to take all your rights away and just break you off and make you poor forever. No, it's not. It's not us. It's the disease. Anyways, Bexar County now has 772 confirmed COVID-19 cases, 3 new deaths reported. Oh man, that's devastating. 3 people in San Antonio died. Oh, that's devastating. That's never happened before. And oh, damn, they're setting records. 3? Oh dang, 3 people. Oh, I'm so terrified, dude. Like I just peed my pants a little bit right now on air because of these 3 people in all San Antonio, which is basically almost 2 million people if you consider the outlying areas. All right, and then 772, just like I said, and they just keep giving me more and more evidence on my side is that, yeah, we had COVID. We've had COVID for a long, long time. And as people have been saying, actually, it's a little bit less lethal than you thought. Now, people are going to die, and people have been dying. Not as much as we thought, but, which, thank God, not as much as we thought, but there's probably a reason for that, right? I might mention some 5.3 technology. We're not even allowed to say that on YouTube because robots will come, right, and shut us down. So 5.3 technology probably has something to do with people starting to fizz. I don't know if you saw that. I tried to upload that, but I mentioned that the other day. People are starting to fizz and stuff and have electrical burning inside themselves. And they can't really explain that. I don't know. I would say it might have something to do with that 5.3 technology. But then again, I'm a crazy, crazy person, right? And not only that, but okay, so they got all these cases. The reason why they only have 772 cases because they can't test everybody in San Antonio, and if they did, I think they would find 1 million people positive at least. I mean, if it's as contagious as they were implying that if I can sneeze, the whole HEB is going to get shut down, right? Because obviously I sneezed a sneeze bomb on everybody. Okay, so yeah, that's the thing. We all have it, and you ain't dead yet. All right, congratulations. See what else I got for us here on Google. We're gonna do a little bit of a news blitz. Benjamin Franklin, damn dude, as kind of independent of a thinker as Benjamin Franklin was, do you really think that he'd be caught wearing a mask on his damn face? I mean, considering just how many people have died necessarily, right? And back in that day, you didn't have Chinese propaganda all over your television telling you to be scared out of your life. You didn't have that, so he wouldn't be so scared. And actually, he was kind of fiercely independent, this guy. He probably would not be wearing a mask. I'm here to tell you, what if those stimulus checks are arriving on schedule, you wouldn't know it from all the complaining. As far as I know, not one single stimulus check has hit anybody's hands. As far as I know. Maybe it has. But I've been seeing reports, and I don't see it. But the IRS announced in a tweet. Oh my God, the IRS has a Twitter. How disgraceful is that? It's so disgraceful. The IRS announced in a tweet over the weekend. The IRS did, even though that's not a person. Can you tell me who pushed their little thumbs on the phone? Or the computer? Can you tell me? Nah, you can't tell me. Market watch. Who cares? The IRS announced a tweet over the weekend that those stimulus checks have already started arriving in the accounts of eligible Americans. Well, I'm glad because he told them to break themselves off, and he said they don't have no life no more, and they can't get no food unless they have money and stuff. So rather than them starving to death, I appreciate this all, but the thing is, it's going to take a long, long time for all that money to hit people's hands. That I'm sure, and it is your own money, but let's see what Brenda has to say. She's our dear co-host, and I say that, and I've said that a lot, but I gotta say, more than anybody else, man. I appreciate her and stuff, man. But if you're out there, I appreciate you too. You just got to try a little bit harder. She says, "Me too." And I pray this turns around and helps turn people to see Jesus. Here's the thing. Before I read the rest of your comment, that's exactly what it's doing. Right? And this is my theory because, okay, as America, we were getting all bolstered up. Our economy was just like off the rails and just balling out of control, right? Pretty much. I mean, you'd have to give it some more time and it would get even better and even better give Donald Trump 4 more years and our economy, I think it would be looking ship shape, right? And in fact, fantastical. But the thing is, that ain't going to help. No, not necessarily. Because unless there's some sort of intervention, it's like we could have all this prosperity and become totally immoral, disgusting creatures in our greed, because we've seen it before, especially in America, where it takes over. I mean, if you remember the 80s, for example, it takes over and all sort of disgusting debauchery goes on and stuff like that. But instead, okay, we've seen the results. We've seen how our economy can get bolstered and stuff like that. We know that it's possible. And so we get hit with this disease, and of course, it's coming directly from China, and they're colluders, right? And oh man, there's new updates on that actually. From what I understand, China just admitted that they did it over the weekend. They admitted the virus came from that. If you hadn't heard that breaking news, because I know a lot of people probably wouldn't share that because they're Chinese propagandists. And so they're only going to say something, all up in America, they're only going to say something that bolsters China because China is their saviors. And the Chinese Communist Party, who, oh man, we're not even going to get it into all the different things that they do up in China that you wouldn't believe. All right, they're not really going to tell you about the fact that China basically admitted it and then said, oh, that we put them up to it. Oh yeah, I'm sure we did. Okay, but the thing is, like I said, it's like all that prosperity, it wouldn't get us nowhere necessarily because we hadn't learned our lesson, and now we're learning lessons. I mean, big lessons, stuff that you might not even realize directly. But you'll see the results after a while. Is that it's going to force a great many people to actually clean up their act. It's going to force them to and look at the world in a more realistic setting than they did. They thought it was all fantasy and fun and games. No, it's not. Actually, these people is going to want to take your damn life in more ways than one. And they'll do it just as soon as you let them, right? And in fact, the quickest way it'll happen is if Satan crawls up into your spirit and just takes you over and makes you do whatever he wants you to do. People are realizing this. And people, like like a side note, there's many different aspects, but people, for one, probably will figure out that all this carrying on and philandering and promiscuity, that's for the birds anyways. That's disgusting. It's actually, and I know like there's all sort of women and men out there who's, they're taking advantage, if you will, and incurring all sort of seeming benefits from it. Nah, it's not benefiting you, not even a little bit. It's actually disgusting. You probably catch COVID anyways off this behavior. All right, and in a more broad sense, they're taken back and they're looking at the world as though it's actually a real place with real consequences at this point. And you might want to know who's actually on your side, to include your spouse or whatever. And you might want to know for sure that their head is in the right place, all right? Because that has not been the case these past couple generations. All right, so it's going to do a lot, unfortunately, to get us to strengthen, to get us to take this dead weight and get it the hell off of us and start actually looking to God, right? And I know all the churches got shut down. You can thank Bill Gates for that, right? So, but anyways, Brando is saying this. I think it's going to prove to be crucial. She said, I looked up obituaries in New York newspapers who were doing this on the ground research, right? So many people are forced to do all this nitty gritty research in which they're just exposing the crap out of this beast, to include and especially Unwrapped by Brenda, right? She says the obituaries in New York newspapers, and they're saying Jane Doe, a 70-year-old woman whom previously had lung cancer, died of CV, just exactly like Dr. Burke set up in a damn in one of those press conference podcasts. Dr. Burke said exactly that. She said, "Oh man, if we find out you had COVID, I don't care if you got hit by a car. I don't care if you died of lung cancer or heart disease or anything. We catch COVID in your body, we're gonna mark it down as COVID. You died from COVID. That's what you died from. Didn't matter that like maybe you had COVID for months and maybe it wasn't even a problem. Like maybe that didn't even like maybe that wasn't even included in your symptoms that led to your death. Wouldn't matter at all. They're gonna put it down as COVID and bolster their numbers so they can get you all afraid. Meanwhile, people were gonna die anyways from heart disease, lung cancer, getting run over by a bus. People were gonna die already. But you want to bolster your numbers, and you're shameless to do it. And you told me that you did it. You said it right there in a press conference, and it's so outrageous, right? The press conference should have ended right when you said that, right? And everybody should have left in disgust. So, not to promo my channel, but I did a ditty about the mask on it last night. Oh man, you know what, Brenda? So long as I'm on YouTube, you can promote your channel every single time, dude. I love it, right? And I'll check that out and stuff. You know, we're gonna go ahead and wind it down because I was gonna make this a short broadcast. So we got about 12, 13 minutes, 14 minutes. So afterwards, I'll be sure to, sometime while I'm getting ready for work, I'll be sure to check out that video about the mask because I'm very curious. I wonder what you're talking about as far as that mask. All right, very curious. All right, by Brenda said, I appreciate you today, man, Brenda. All right, I can't even express how much. So she said, I really do like hearing your view on things. Brenda, that blows my mind, all right? So, because I grew up, right? Real briefly about my life, all right? Most times people think I'm joking when I'm not joking, right? And they take my opinions to include people in my family and people who know me basically my whole life, and they'll discount them. Like, for example, when I told people in my family, I said, hey, look, you better go get some food because, a couple weeks from now, it's going to be food runs. And this is before the food runs. And they would laugh and giggle. Oh, it's so funny. Until, yeah, guess what? It's food runs. Just like I said, 2 weeks prior. What am I, a psychic? Am I a damn genius? All right? And so that's the thing about it. I'm very used to having my opinions be brushed off all the time. All right? So it blows my damn mind, to be honest with you. That one person wants to hear my views. It's crazy. I mean, it's crazy. That's beautiful. That's the beauty of the internet. I'm here to tell you. Now, something I've mentioned before. All right, so we're gonna try to do this news blitz. Like, dear Mayor Ron Nirenberg, you don't know who that is, but he's the mayor of San Antonio, and he's a worthless coward. To be honest with you. Yesterday, 2 city officials, blah blah blah, and they had a sign that said, "We will not comply. God bless you. I hope you don't comply." All right, they want to hit you with all sort of fines. They need to find themselves up in a prison cell for all their treason. Right, to include this coward named Nirenberg. That's what they need to find. So, but the vape shop files $100,000 lawsuit, as well it should, against the city of San Antonio. I don't know about that, but you might as well sue Nirenberg's damn face off. Right, the Mexican Obama. You might want to go ahead and do that. Right. I don't know if you could do that. They're probably suing whoever. Hey, sue them. Sue the crap out of them, right? Because they deserve it. So San Antonio Mega Vape is suing the city of San Antonio for at least $100,000 and asking for a temporary restraining order. They're asking for the government. They're asking for a restraining order from the government. He's trying to shut them down, right? At random, because Lord knows there's gas stations open who are selling vapes. Lord knows. I actually made a video the other day and I didn't even upload it. Not too far away from me, they just they made what's called these plasma places. I don't know if you heard of it, but I used to actually sell my plasma a long, long time ago. Don't do that. That's You're desperate if you're doing that. And so those places are now packed because people need money desperately. And meanwhile, I couldn't even think of a better place to catch COVID, right? If you're in a plasma place with a crowd of people and stuff, right? So those are open. All sort of other things are open. People are still coming across each other, but you want to shut down these businesses and you don't think I see right through it. Hmm. Don't waste your money. Milk prices soar while farmers are dumping it John Masteries. I don't know what to say. Okay, but and I did make a video about this over on the BitChute, and I hope that it uploaded. I'll be making subsequent videos because a dear contributor of mine, a D, just known as D, came on and gave me some links and stuff, and I made a video, and I'm not sure it got processed on BitChute, but I'm going to check it out after the broadcast. And what he was telling me, he showed me to a guy who's on YouTube, and we don't have time to check it out, but he pretty much let me know through all sort of different, publications and stuff that it's actually like, it's not hard to figure it out, but our food industry is being raped, basically. All right, broken the hell off. So the point is, a lot of people who we get our food from, they can't even afford to keep doing that. All right, they're going to shut down their business, all right, because they're going to have to. And it's going to prove to be devastating. Like, people, here's the thing, it is inevitable. There's no way around it, all right? There's going to be shortages of food, all right? And I don't know if people are going to be starving in the streets, but there's sincerely going to be a shortage of food to the point if you have favorite foods and stuff, it's a good chance that you're not going to be able to find that, all right? To include eggs, milk, especially meat products, but we're talking about all sort of produce too for all y'all vegans out there. Yeah, a lot of the produce is getting wasted right now too as well. Broward High School football coach Eddie Fraser dies at 34. If he had any COVID in his blood at all, that's all I would say. But he didn't, so they didn't bring it up. I guess it doesn't matter what he died. Well, I'm sure they did talk about what he died from, but of course not COVID. Fox's Tiger King special focuses on who killed Carol Baskin's husband, Don Lewis, right? And I know a lot of people are very, very excited about it, and I don't blame them, but I couldn't care any less if you paid me to care less, all right? Unwrapped by Brenda says, people either think I'm being mean or joking. What? Why would they think that? All right, let's dive into this a little bit before we get out of here. We got a few minutes. Unwrapped by Brenda says, we are up against the devil himself, and I couldn't agree more. I wish I was two people so I could agree double on that. So it's the devil himself, and don't you ever forget it. By the way, my nephew came over a couple weeks ago, and afterwards I was looking at my phone, and my neighbor was texting me, asking me what is going on over there. I want to throw up. Right? And I've seen articles in which thousands of people have been reporting their neighbors for living life, because if you live life, you're going to murder your neighbors, whether or not you even do anything to them. All right. And so that's why they're calling the police on you or texting you, what's happening? You have a person in your house? Oh, God. And then the sirens, they turn on the sirens and they're like, oh, man, it's a meltdown. We're under attack. Brenda's nephew came over. Oh, Jesus. It's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. That's how they're reacting. People either think I'm being mean or joking. Yeah, I feel you on that one, Brenda. So they want us to eat fake meat in the end. Oh man. Okay. See, the thing is, the person I'm gonna make a video dedicated, especially on this person, because on YouTube, if you look it up, his name is actually Ice Age Farmer. If you haven't heard of him, and he's so damn articulate. In fact, his accent is just like so proper. I don't know where the hell he's from, but he's so damn articulate. Gets right to the point. He's talking all about this. And I've seen a video in which you are exactly correct, Brenda. In fact, you can point your finger at Tyson right now. You might imagine the stuff. Lord knows that's the chicken mafia anyways, and everybody already knew it. But okay, see, Tyson, their whole plan is they're shutting. If they could have their way, hypothetically speaking, they wouldn't even make chickens. No, they would make all their meat in a laboratory. And the thing is, they've already been prepping for that for years, coincidentally. Ah, coincidentally. Oh man, it turns out that they're just prepared for a situation just like this, in which they stuff fake meat down our throats that's created by bacteria in some sort of petri dish. Uh, my imagination couldn't think of anything wilder than this. But Brenda is exactly right. And Ice Age Farmer put that into quite some detail in reference to Tyson, all right, the chicken mafia, or I guess the fake meat petri dish mafia, all right. So we're gonna look forward to more updates on that for sure. The real reason Trevor left Trailer Park Boys, thing is, I've become actually, and I don't exactly have time for it, but I've become very, I like watching Trailer Park Boys, and I watch it for free on YouTube. Don't tell anybody, but it's actually pretty good. I don't really care why the hell Trevor left. It doesn't, I don't know. But Google wanted to tell me Texas governor wants to slowly reopen business, and Trump says that that's the federal government's decision. Well, it's true. I mean, people are definitely trying to. NBC News is definitely it's definitely owned and ran by Chinese communists, right? For sure. And so they want to put a rift between Donald Trump and the Texas governor. Meanwhile, it does seem like Donald Trump, from what I'm seeing, is on the same page with the Texas governor, and that page is, how about we get some money now? All right, how about we go back to work? All right, and of course they're slowly having to do it because if they did it too fast, trust me, communist Chinese and everybody colluding with them would spray us down with all sort of viruses like you wouldn't believe and blame it on Donald Trump and blame it on you and your mama. All right, and you'd have to take that. You just have to take that. Meat plants are closing, but you don't have to panic shop just yet. Okay, you're showing me a picture, and I don't know what the picture is of necessarily, but it does remind me of San Antonio just the other day, in which thousands of people, for the first time in their life, had to go to the food bank all at the same time. Now, it's an amount of people that the food bank cannot afford to serve for very long, and I'm talking about weeks probably. So the meat plants are closing, but you don't have to panic shop just yet. I would never endorse panic shopping. Of course, these people do. CNN promotes panic shopping, but they just say don't do it yet. Do it when we tell you to do it, because we're ran by the communist Chinese, and they got all sort of figures and computers and stuff. We'll tell you when it's time to panic. When the Chinese tell us, that's when we're going to tell you. Meat plants are closing, but don't panic, even though you like meat and you would like to eat it. Don't panic, but we're shutting down the food industry for America. Don't panic. We got fake meat on the horizon. Don't you panic, even though all these people, I don't know what those people are there for. Probably because they're panicking, to be honest with you. And I can't blame them. There's already two metal bands called COVID-19, and they're brutal. Couldn't care any less. Good for them. Amazon puts new grocery delivery customers on hold. Oh, believe it or not. What anybody with any sense said weeks and weeks ago. All right. Daily joke. I guess we're going to need it. The park rangers warn hikers about bear attacks. I don't know if that's a joke or something. Oh, that was a good joke. Thank you. KSET 12 to bring Fiesta into San Antonio homes with the rebroadcast of last year's parades. I want to throw up. For people who don't know about San Antonio, when you say the word fiesta in Spanish, that means party. It's a general word. But when you say the word fiesta in San Antonio, people know what the hell you're talking about. It's something we have every year, just regardless. We have it every year. And it's very expensive. I don't ever go out to Fiesta because I live in San Antonio. I already know what's going down. And yeah, it's fun and everything, but it's stupidly expensive. If you want to go down there, you're going to spend up all your money. Or, I mean, don't go with the extra money. Like, have a budget when you go on Fiesta because they're going to take all your money. And, okay, so in a move that just couldn't be more disgusting, it just couldn't be more disgusting at all. They want to broadcast on the television last year's parades, and they just blew my damn mind. Oh yeah, that's what's gonna. People are gonna love to see that. Trump's latest coronavirus briefing featured an epic meltdown. Oh yeah, every time anybody goes on Twitter or anything like that, it's an epic meltdown because you work for the Chinese Communist Party, and don't think that I don't know, right? You're treasonous. You deserve the punishment that goes along with treason. I don't know if you get my drift. I don't know if you do, but you probably will. Get the bucket, Gerard. Oh man, the thing is, it's actually impossible for me to throw up. Almost impossible. Like I get food poisoning. I can't throw up. It's just a weird thing. But at the same time, it's like I wish I could throw up. There's certain moments when all I want to do is throw up, but I can't. So weird. Rabbi Brandon says this as we close out. All right, we've gotten the gist from Google. Like I said, under attack. And of course, it's always been a spiritual battle, and it will always be a spiritual battle. Your enemy is Satan, and that's about it. All right, but at the same time, externally, it's absolutely a war. It's been a war for many years, but it's so damn apparent that you should be waking up in cold sweats. All right. But let's see what Brenda said. She said they want us to eat fake meat, and she said there are scientists in Ireland, and I'm sure everywhere, making 3D effing meat, like they're printing meat or something, dude. They got meat printers. The, I mean, just so unbelievably disgusting. I see there's 3 people up in the building, and I appreciate the crap out of all y'all. But it's a short broadcast tonight, and like I said, to wrap it up, there's no way you had to be a vegetable or in a coma to not realize that you're under attack. And a lot of that, pretty much all of it, is coming from the Communist Chinese Party and their colluders, to include Bill Gates, to include Dr. Fauci, and to include Dr. Birx. Now, I wish them a long, long life, much longer than my own. But at the same time, they're gonna get their comeuppance, right? And that's only a matter of time before, they got some real explaining to do. Now, they would rather not explain themselves. In fact, they would rather you be dying of starvation in the streets. And I think they've proven that quite abundantly. Quite abundantly, right? And so I appreciate the crap out of y'all. Like I said, I'll get banned off of YouTube just as soon as I want to. And when that happens, I'll go over and D-Live and I'll train myself, obviously, to figure it out. It's been kind of confusing. Maybe I had to get a different app because my app's all right, but it's just, I don't know. And you can catch me on BitChute and stuff, which I should be more prolific on there, if I'm being quite honest, right? So you catch me on there and stuff, especially when I get banned up off of YouTube. And I appreciate the crap out of y'all, all right? It's April the 13th, 2020.